What's up, you guys? It's Sir Scrub here, bringing you some more Scrub tier Yu-Gi-Oh! And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at my True Draco Stun deck profile for the August 2019 format. But before we get into today's video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content from me. And if you do want to see more of my creative deck profiles, please be sure to check out my Patreon and PayPal links in the description, and take a look at my TCG player shop and see if there's anything there that piques your interest. But getting into this, we're starting off with the 1 Dynamite Knight, 2 Majesty's Maiden, and 3 copies of Ignis Heat. These are your standard True Draco monsters. They all essentially do the same thing. Maiden searches monsters, Ignis searches spells, and Dynamite searches traps. If Dynamite ever comes back to 2, I would suggest playing all of them at 2, but with Dynamite limited, this is definitely the best ratio. Because you want to see these monsters. We're not playing a very high monster count. You never really traditionally play a high monster count in Draco, and these are really the core of the deck. Moving on from the Resource Gatherers, I'm also playing 2 copies of Dryth III, the True Draco Cavalry General. Dryth does a lot of things for the deck, and he's really useful because he gives all of your True Draco monsters targeting protection, but as well he floats when he is tribute summoned. So he's a really powerful addition to the deck, giving you better control over your card economy, not to mention, with Sky Striker and things of the like running around. Having that targeting immunity for your entire board can be really useful sometimes. And then the last monster that I'm playing is 2 copies of Amano Iwado. Because of the way that I built this deck, I tend to struggle more with powerful combo decks such as Crusadia Thunder or Pendulum for that matter. So Amano Iwado is a great way to just go second, normal summon him into their boards, and it completely shuts off all of their monsters, allowing us to make our plays and hopefully deal with their boards. That's it for the monsters. Now let's move into the spell cards. Starting off the spells, we have the 4 copies of Dragonic Diagram, Diagram is the heart and soul of the deck. If you don't have access to Diagram, you're not playing a whole lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! In this deck. And there's a lot of draw power, so terraforming being limited isn't that big of a deal, though there are some times where it can be a little bit difficult to get your engine started, but nevertheless, this deck will persevere. Moving on from there, we're of course playing 3 copies of Heritage and 3 copies of Disciples. These guys, this is your whole resource engine right here, engine quote unquote. Heritage lets you draw a card for every True Draco card type, monster, spell, or trap, and Disciples shuffles your resources back. So they allow you to dig through your deck as well as extend the life of your grind game. But more importantly from that, they also, when they hit the grave, allow you to pop one of your opponent's back row, allowing you to play the resource game with something like Sky Striker or Salamangreat. Moving into the generic draw power, of course, we are playing 3 copies of Card of Demise. Literally is just a +2. It's a very fantastic card. It does limit your deck building capabilities, so we don't play hand traps because hand traps and Demise are an obvious conflict. But it's just allowing you to dig deeper, get into the floodgates, get into the stun, and just really boosting the speed of this deck. Not to mention, we're also playing 3 copies of Pot of Duality. The one thing that I will say about Duality is it does sometimes conflict with Dryth, but you do what you can. You play around it. Really, sometimes you just need that extra draw. And speaking of extra draws, we're of course playing the 1 copy of Metal Foes Fusion. I feel like this is mandatory for any True Draco build. It literally just turns Diagram into Engage. And not to mention, you can set it when you're going first next to your True Draco spells, and then when you tribute summons, you can blow it up and get a draw, so it's never really dead. And the last spell card that I'm playing is just 1 copy of Monster Reborn. It's just that last minute tribute fodder, gets you that extra bit of damage on board when you're trying to go for game, things like that. That's it for the spell cards. Now let's go ahead and move into the traps. Starting off the traps, just the 1 copy of True King's Return. I feel like this is the only one that's really necessary. Apocalypse, I feel, is more of a side deck card to help you deal with big monsters. My theory was I would much rather never let those big monsters hit the board in the first place rather than removing them once they get there. Moving into the Floodgates, we're of course playing 3 copies of Erupt, so this is not the extra deck variant. I think Erupt, being a skill drain, is much more powerful than the utility the extra deck offers you. Really fantastic card. Like I said, it's literally a skill drain for every deck but us, so yeah. Moving on from there, I'm also playing 3 copies of Summon Limit. This card is kind of dead going second. However, going first, it is a silver bullet to anything combo based, so I really love it. It is a really powerful floodgate, and it's more of a watered down Vanity's Emptiness than anything. Moving on from there, I'm main decking 3 copies of Anti-Spell Fragrance. This is for mainly for Pendulum and Sky Striker, but it's also just 3 free slots you can side deck out against something like Crusadia Thunder or anything like that that's really heavily combo based that isn't Pendulum. Because Anti-Spell Fragrance does what it does, it really slows Sky Striker down and really gives us the advantage in the grind game, and it is literally kryptonite to Pendulum decks. And then the last 2 cards that I'm running, and the 2 cards to round out the main deck, is just 2 copies of Solemn Judgment. Really fantastic card. It's just a free no for you to just give your opponent the middle finger and just tell them that they're not going to do whatever it is you want them to do. Beyond that, it can protect you against Evenly Match and Twin Twister blowout cards. That's also another use for Anti-Spell Fragrance, is protecting you from Twin Twisters. And just protecting you from back row hate in general. But Solemn Judgment can just be that one silver bullet. If they can just play around your floodgates, you can just Judgment them, knock out that last little bit of resource, and go for game. But that's all I've got for this one, you guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Also, if you do want to see more creative deck profiles from me, please be sure to check out my Patreon link and PayPal in the description, and check out my TCG player shop. See if there's anything in there that catches your eye. Every little bit helps into improving the channel. But most importantly, don't forget, be a scrub. Peace.